Yeah, so like down below, let me know about like fashion brands that went in and out throughout the 90s or 2000s or even 80s or whenever that you saw like, oh, that was the big thing, and then it was like just dropped off, and um, just the ridiculousness of it all. So name some brands that you can come up with that you remember having these thoughts about. So thanks. All right, so like in the 90s, even when alternative rock fashions took a hold, people still had to have their little brand name labels in certain circumstances in order to, just represent their part of the cookie cutter clan. Every once in a while, it seemed like. Do you remember like sports clothing? Like for a while, like it had to be a certain kind, and I know things changed, but they had to follow whatever flavor of the week, um, like like label wise was. So like I remember early 90s, like you could have a sports coat, but it had to be starter. You had to have a starter jacket. You got to have a starter jacket. They weren't like crazy expensive at first, but I think the prices went up and they were like kind of hard to find. Starter jackets. So starter jackets were like had a little star in the corner of the wrist. Starter jackets. So people would end up even supporting teams they don't even watch just so they could have that starter jacket, and even the girls were going around in starter jackets. It was so silly. That was one of the trends. Let me think, other trends that were around. Like certain clothing brands that were urban, even like non-urban kids would be wearing it, like let's see, Pele, stuff like that. Let's see, another Pele, Sean John, Cook came up, but that never really hit too hard in my area. Yeah, so a lot of these labels were just, it was about the label, having this just to show the label. It was like matching fit. That was all after the fact, That was all after the fact. And if you didn't have the right label, man, you were in trouble. I'm going to tell you about the Bugle Boy. So like Bugle Boy, I remember there was like a commercial. Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing? Why yes they are. And then I think she ditched them or something, even in the commercial. But that's what happened. Okay, my sister's friend, she went on a blind date, and I remember hearing about this because I made a point. Don't give me no Bugle Boy. Don't give me no Bugle Boy. Anyway, she went on a blind date, and she was like, yeah, he was all right, but his shirt had this Bugle Boy logo on it. I was like, talk to the hand. And they were like joking about that. I was like, he might have been like the best looking guy or whatever, but he obviously wasn't like a Chad, because a Chad wouldn't be caught in Bugle Boy during that time, I guess, supposedly, unless it's the commercial. But anyways, then I stopped. I'm like, just don't give me no Bugle Boy. So I don't know if I had any more Bugle Boy, but maybe some pants or something. But you don't get that shirt, you don't get that logo. So like if a logo's in, you can wear the whole logo, represent, like boom, take a look at that. Boom, the whole shirt's a freaking logo. But if it's out, you go out like that, you'd be clowned. Like people would totally clown you, and it's kind of funny. It's like, don't play that game. So it's like, I would think like somebody would be cool if they didn't play that game. They just did whatever they wanted. But back then, not really. I don't think you could do that. But nowadays, it's totally different. So I think it's a lot better because it's about like fashion and stuff. So it's like, especially with inflation, like people actually go shop at Salvation Army. They'll go to Value World and thrift stores and stuff. They even make it popular or something. So it's kind of funny how nowadays you can get away with not worrying about all that stuff. It's more about fit, matching. If you want to make like a statement, like if you want to be flashy or you want to be like a little bit understated, it's like kind of what you're going for fashion wise. It'll shine through somewhat. So for fashion tips, I don't have any for you, but I think like for the men, there's Gentleman's Gazette. I think that's a YouTube channel that has some really good practical fashion advice, and it's not about like spending the most money. They're always giving you good, like, affordable options up to the more expensive options, but the expensive options are somewhat justified because they talk about the quality of the materials, stuff like that, and I think that's good. It's not about like this label or that popular stuff. It's like you can actually express a fashion sense and stuff. Or the Vince Goodrum channel. Check out the Vince Goodrum channel because he has good practical fashion advice to get you, even though we're in the Goodrum group, it'll help you with the ladies, So check out the Vince Goodrum channel, and thanks for listening to my little rant on materialism and fashion in the 1990s.